Welcome back. So the next step I want to do is kind of just try and create a static version of this component right here, the customer component. So I'm going to try and create this guy as it's not going to have any dynamic data. It's just going to be a static presentation of what I want to end up with as this single component. And that pretty much means that to get the border there, I can see that I need probably some kind of outer tag, some kind of div tag. I'm going to need some kind of image tag right here, some kind of img tag, right? That's going to be needed. I'm going to need maybe an H tag or H3 maybe there, or maybe it's going to be a P tag, I'm not sure yet. And here I'm also going to need some kind of H tag, maybe an H4 to make it different. That says H. Or maybe that's also just going to be a P tag. And then of course I'm going to need to style it somehow with some CSS. So that's what we're going to try and do this lesson. And I might as well just tell you guys, I'm going to do it in pure HTML and CSS this time. Normally I wouldn't do that. I would use one of the frameworks out there, like for instance Material Design. They give you a lot of cool things that a dumb developer like myself who doesn't know how to do UI properly, Material Design will help you design some great UI by adding some components for you, and that's actually available for Angular. Also Bootstrap, that's a very known framework that people also use. You can actually go into get bootstrap.com, there we go. And this guy is also a very known framework for building great UI, so of course normally I would use that. But for now, to keep it simple, I'm going to make it as pure HTML, and I might as well just tell you guys, I suck at pure HTML and CSS. But let's do it anyway. So now we know what we need, and let's try and create that. So the first thing I said is the outer layer here for my customer component. By the way, I'm inside now the file for the customer component. So I'm inside the customer component HTML file. I'm just clearing everything out here because I want to make it from scratch. And here I'm going to start out with a div, because that's the outer element, right? That's what I just showed on the drawing. Inside the div, I'm going to have an image tag. That's the second level, right? And inside under the image, it seems I'm going to have a H3 tag. Let's just try that and just call this las bilde like this. And then below that, I'm going to have an H5 tag maybe that says Livingston Street 22, like this. So now I kind of just set up an idea about my HTML. Now we're going to style this later so it looks better. For the image, we're going to also add a source right now, and that I'm going to use something called placeholder com. Let me just show you the link right here. It's not awesome or anything, but it'll make these small gray areas to kind of show how an image would be placed. And I'm just going to grab this link right here. This is free, of course, so you can make a simple way of just presenting an image. So I'm going to paste that in here, and instead of saying this, I'm going to say 64 times 64. I think that'll be my size. And there we go. Now we have some kind of HTML ready to show something, and it's going to look hideous, I guess. But how do I actually test this? Well, let's try and just show this as the final thing right now to see how it looks right now. It's very easy. I need to figure out what tag should I add somewhere to kind of display this. And if you go into the component tiers file and you remember back, I had something called the selector, and that's actually the tag name right here. So it's going to be called app customer right now. That's the name of my tag. I'm going to grab this tag name now, and I'm going into my app component HTML, the one we built our math thing in, and then I'm just going to add the tag right here, right in the bottom. Now we'll clean this up later, but this is just to kind of present and show you guys what you actually have available right now with the few lines of code I just did. Notice I only changed things inside the component HTML, right? And then I added the new tag inside my app component HTML, and now we should have something available. Let's try and go back to our localhost and see what we actually have. Localhost 4200, and there we go. Now we have an image, a name, and a name. Now it's not perfect yet. It looks like nothing awesome or anything like that, but we'll work on the CSS next time. But now we have the custom HTML up and running, and we can see something on the screen. See you next time.